Okay. So I tried to do this before, and it's crazy because my mic wasn't on. So real quick, we just gonna break down the trade that I took. We got a few good trades coming in, but let's look at. Had some setups. We got Nas 100. Wow, Nas 100. Beautiful setup. Beautiful setup. We had our resistance up here, and we got a support down here. We waited for a touch. As you see it came down here into our support. Now we were just waiting for a come and a retest, and it came and retest around 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, retest, and then that's when you would hop in for that entry. And as we see, Nas 100 took off to the upside, would have us in profit, deep profit. So I didn't take this trade. I just wanted to show y'all a breakdown and just how accurate, how much of a sniper I am. Bing, bing, bang, 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 bing, bing, bang. You feel me? So with that being said, yeah, we're going to have a pullback, though. It's going to pull back into this fair market gap right here around 38%. But I wouldn't be surprised if it hits TP, too, straight off the back. So, but I wouldn't be surprised, too, if it comes and it retests. But, yeah, it's look like it's on its way to TP1. But now let's show y'all the trade that I did take. There was another trade, too, I was looking at. Okay, let's look at this one, Euro JPY. Euro JPY is busting up to be a lovely play right here. This is nice. Okay, we getting the come. We getting the retest. We're going to have to pull back to probably here, and then we should have a takeoff. But let's show you how to play that I did take. And we started this little escapade. So earlier this week didn't start off too good, right? Because I was in trades from last week that were... That's another rule right here. Don't end the week in negative trades, especially not 2 or more negative trades. It's one thing you got one trade that you're holding for, and you're already seeing what you need to see. But don't hold more than 2 a trade, especially Friday coming. When Friday market close, you want to be looking to get out of most of your trades, especially if it's not something that you see going into next week. Get out of them. Boom. So that was one of my mistakes. I fucked up there. Woo, woo, bing, bing, bong. And I held trades. So I was going into this week holding negative trades and fighting and still trying to look for new setups. So I took an L. Took about a $600 loss. I started the week off very beautifully with a nice lesson. We call L's lessons. We don't lose. It's called lessons and blessings. You don't get the blessings out of life if you don't get the lessons. So you can either take an L and lose, or you can take an L and learn. So with that being said, I always choose to learn. You only lose when you don't learn. So every time you strive to do anything, every time you take an L, make sure you're learning and never losing. You feel me? So with that being said, yeah, I learned earlier this week. So cool. Lost my $600. Now I'm looking for the next setup. I'm like, all right, cool. Now it's a fresh week. Now I can start the week off fresh. So Monday, Tuesday didn't trade. We're just kind of looking at things. And yesterday AM around 6 a.m. we got into this trade. And cool. So the first thing I always do with any of my trades, I'm just breaking down my trade psychology and my trading plan with you guys, is I find my resistance and I find my support. So on the 4-hour time frame, which is much more sturdier, if you see here, before it came and it wicked up at the 4-hour right here. Boom. Held sturdy resistance right here. Boom. So comes down here, resistance, coming down. Right here, we start to get a support here, kind of, but not an accurate support. This is a more accurate support. Everything kind of engaged under this is kind of that good support. So this is my support. Bam. We take this, and then we come back up here. So before 6 o'clock, this is what I'm seeing. All I'm seeing is that half on the left-hand side of the trend line. I'm just seeing all these green bars going up. So I'm like, okay, cool, boom. Now that when I see green bars going up, the first thing I'm looking for is resistance. You understand? So I'm looking like, okay, cool. It's not going to just keep going up, or even if it does keep going up. All right, I want to find resistance. I want to find where the resistance is. Boom. So like I told you, over here we have resistance. So this was a good resistance area level right here. So I'm like, all right, cool. We're going to put our resistance right here. It touched around. This is on a 4-hour time frame. So for it to touch 3-4 times on a 4-hour time frame, we know this is a very strong area of resistance. Now, it's different if you look at it on a 5-minute or something like that. We look at it on a 4-hour time frame. And in 4 hours, if it came and wicked this area 2, 3, 4 times, this is a very strong resistance or support. So, boom, we put our resistance there. We come, and once we get close to our support, we see. So a couple hours before, I was just seeing what it did. It came around 4 o'clock, boom. 4 o'clock, boom, it hits. It starts to come down a little bit. It rejects, and then what I like to see is not only the rejection here, right? But I like to see a retest. You understand that? So we come here and we look at the hour. Now, after I set it up on a 4 hour, now I'm coming to the hour. And you see on the hour, it keeps touching this area. Never breaking. It touched this area about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, that's 9 hours. Do you understand that? We have to think. That's how you got to think when you set these support. It's thinking hours. Like, it was 9 hours that it tried to keep going past this ceiling and didn't break the ceiling. We know this is a great area of resistance because also a few days before that, we had it test. Boom. So bang, right there, we got our resistance. So now from that, I'm setting up to make an easy trade, especially if it's a swing trade. I'm setting up my Fibonacci retracement. So I'm gonna put the top of my fib at the resistance, and I'll put the bottom towards my support. So boom, right? That's what we did. We patiently waited. I like to see it past the 38% before I enter. I like to see it break past the 38% and retest before. That's an aggressive entry, set 38. But the simplest way to trade, even without a fib, right? Support and resistance. Every time it's by a resistance, we want to sell. Every time it's by a support, we want to buy. You feel me? Unless we break support or resistance. So when we see these things, we want to buy or we want to sell. So here, I already know. Usually, when I set up the fib, I like to get in around 38%. I want to see it close, break, and get in around 38%. In this case, I really was strongly already knowing that, okay, this is going to be a super sell. This is going to sell off very aggressively. So, and like I said, we noticed from 9 hours of it trying to hit this resistance and never breaking, then comes down and comes back up, and it still gets to this resistance level and doesn't break. So now we definitely know, okay, cool, we're hopping in for a sell. Boom. So I hopped in my first initial position, which you see is like 4 and change, up here. Now, once it came to 38%, I hopped in for my second position, but I like to see it break and retest. I think I got in on the break, not even the break and close. I just got in on the break. So this is the most crucial part of trading right here. Drawing your charts up, you feel me? Having a trading plan and taking a trade. But the biggest part is the patience. You get paid to be patient when you're a trader. You get paid to be patient. If you're not patient, you will not get paid. Simple as that. You get paid to be patient. If you're not patient, you will not get paid. This will help you with a lot of life things too. So right here, boom, we're in the trade, doing solid. We get a couple good pushes down for a couple hours. We get in around 6 o'clock. By 9 a.m., we hop in our second trade. 10 a.m., we hop in our third trade. So now we got 3-4 positions. No, we had, like 3-4 positions in by 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock, we get a nice push down. 12 o'clock, we get a kind of imbalance, kind of consolidating that hour. 1 o'clock, it pushes up. Gives us a nice push up again. 2 o'clock, this is the most crucial point right here. Because after now, right, so after the first 3 hours, I drew my trend line. So now your trend line acts as a double confirmation. Anything that breaks above our trend line, especially in this situation, it breaks above the trend line, we know, okay, there's a change in structure, change in thing, right? So on this 1 hour, we see on 2 o'clock, we see a crazy wick back to our retest zone. We see a crazy wick back to our retest zone, back to our pullback area, which is 23%, which is good. We want to see that. Now, if we seen a break past that, then we know, okay, this is not good. This is changing up on us. But we see a wick towards the 23%, and then we see it immediately come back down under our trend line. This was the most satisfying part of this trade right here. This was the most satisfying part. To see it wick get back to my original entry damn near, and then to know and have the poise and confidence and patience to say, okay, let me wait this out, see what happens, and know that this is just a reaction. This is just a pullback. You got to know this. You got to know, like, okay, this is just a pullback. For me, because all the signs is showing me this is still a sell. It doesn't matter. It's still a sell. And even with that heavy wick, it didn't it showed me even more so it's a sell because it's wicking. So it's like, all right, cool. And then it comes back under my trend line. This was beautiful. It comes back under my trend line. This is beautiful. And now from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, it takes a crazy jump down into our golden area. Golden area is where for me, your entry level. This is where you would enter the trade. If I didn't already have early entries in here, this is where I would have entered 60, 70. I really would have entered at 70%. If I entered at 70%, we would have been great. Gravy, because it would have came, even if it was here, came, pull, and then pull back to here, and then shot off. Boom, perfect, beautiful. But over the next couple hours, as we see, my TP was here. We come and around, 9 o'clock, 8 a.m., we smack TP. 1, we got TP2. We didn't hit TP2 yet, but we on our way to TP2. We got a little pullback right now. Let's see. We got a little pullback, which is cool. Let me see. We got a boom. Yeah, we got a little bit of pullback, but that's cool, right? But so yeah, we waiting on TP2 to smack right here. Oh damn, we waiting on TP2 to come and smack right here. But this was a beautiful trade. So I just wanted to show y'all just the basics of a trading plan, of my trading plan. There's many ways to do this, of course, but just showing you the basics and just showing you a clean trade I took, and just showing you why never to give up. Like I said, I started off this weekend Monday, and I was already in bad trades from last week. When I had bad trades, it took longer to develop, and it was certain times where I should have took profit and different things, a lot of different lessons. But biggest thing was that I was patient. I didn't quit. I could have took that L Monday and said, fuck it. All right, cool. We're not trading. But also I had some bills to pay, so that wasn't an option for me. So at this time, I'm like, all right, cool. Damn, I can't just take this L. Let me get back at it, because I already knew what the mistake was. That's the thing. You got to identify the mistake or the problem. Once you identify it, then you can move forward. I understood that, okay, only reason I took this L was because I was in trades from last week that I held over the weekend. Whole market structure shifted, changed it, and now Monday comes, and I'm still in these trades that may be going this way or that way, and I might not be in the set direction. So I'm already negative. I was already deep negative when I went into the weekend. I was already down 275 or whatever, right, because it's trade I took or whatever the case may be. But it was good if I would have took it early in the week. And there was points in time where I should have took profit because I was up $400-500 and didn't take profit. But I didn't take profit because it didn't hit my goals and my TP. So, like I said, I learned and I came back Wednesday ready to attack. And Wednesday to today, I made up for the money that I lost and I'm in profit for the week. So this is the importance of never quitting. Trusting yourself, being confident in yourself, man, and being patient. As you see here, we had to be patient because most beginning or basic traders, when they see this wick at 2 o'clock, they would be like, oh shit, no, it's changing. Okay, blah, blah, blah. They would have hopped out this trade. They would have closed all 3 positions. Now, just with being a little more patient, look, I came up and made, over $800, $900. I took some partials over $900 in a couple hours off of just being patient. So the key with trading, the key with this is definitely, be patient. You be confident in what you see. If you did your due diligence, you did your homework, you're like, okay, X, Y, Z, this is where it's at, da-da-da. Listen. Trust yourself. Take that trade. Okay, now we're going to go over here. I want to look at gold real quick. And then listen, oh my gosh. We're going to catch you on the next video. Okay, this is beautiful, right? So this is what I wanted from gold, right? I'm not in for gold for a buy. Not in it for the slightest of a buy. What I want to see right now, right, is building up. I want to see this touch all the way up here, touch, and wick here, which is going to. And this even here was a nice buy play for somebody. This was a nice, look at it, double touches right here for support, and then took off, bang. But I'm not really focused on that because we got a buy right here. But if you look overall, it's like really consolidating in this area. Gold is really consolidating in this area right now. So for me, what I'm looking for a wick at this 0 price right here. And we're going to hop in for a trade once it come back down to here around 38.23%. So it's going to go up here. I want it to touch up here, and then start making its way back down here. And then that's when we hop in that trade. But peace and love to everybody. Make it great. And remember, be patient with yourself. Believe in yourself. Stay confident. Don't ever give up. Remember, life is what you make it, so make it great. That's how we do this. We control our destiny. We control our future, so make it great. Life is what you make it. You dig? We got a lot more sorts, a lot more trades coming for y'all. I trade live too, so if y'all want to get some